Hello, I am back and we are back into naturopathic medical school information. My name is Lily and this is Lily's Natural Life, where I talk about all things related to naturopathic medicine, naturopathic medical school, veganism, and sustainability. Today I'm going to be talking about what the actual cost of going to a naturopathic medical school is. Now, I personally am going to the Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine, which is what all of my information is going to be based around. It's going to be based off of the other naturopathic medical schools. They're going to be similar. They're going to be a little bit more different when you're outside of the US in Canada. But the loan information for the ones inside the US is going to be the same, as well as the prices are probably going to be very similar. Okay, so let's get started. To figure out how much naturopathic medical school is going to cost per quarter, you must take the credit hour rate. For me, it's $358 per credit hour, and multiply that by the number of credits you're taking. Then there are quarterly fees which will be applied every quarter, and they vary depending on labs and other such things. Then of course, textbooks and living expenses. So if you want to find your total for the year, I multiplied $358 times about 100 credit hours for the whole year, and I got $35,800 just per credit hour. Then there are additional fees and living costs in addition to it. So how are you going to pay for this medical school program? Well, if you don't have 200 grand sitting around, most of us don't, then you're going to need to take out student loans. So in order to take out loans, you're going to have to fill out the FAFSA just like you did for your undergraduate degree. Your options for this graduate medical school program are a direct unsubsidized loan, a direct plus loan, and private student loans. They don't give you many options once you're in graduate school. Now, there are scholarships available, but there are a very limited amount of scholarships, and it will vary per school. There are no grants, at least at SCNM. I doubt any of the other naturopathic schools in the US have grants. Now, if your school does offer other scholarships that will vary year to year and quarter to quarter, they will notify you of them. So let me mention that the academic year is 9 months long. Now, even though the naturopathic medical school program is year-long and it goes in quarters, the academic year is 9 months long, so 3 quarters per academic year. And I'd like to note that you will be paying your tuition per quarter, so you don't have to be worried about paying a huge amount right at the beginning of each year. If you don't know, I may do another video more in depth on student loans, but direct unsubsidized loans means your loans will begin accruing interest while you are still in school. This is opposite of the subsidized loans where the government pays the interest rate. But in graduate school, they don't offer subsidized loans. Then you have direct plus loans, which have a larger interest rate, and I believe those also will accrue interest while you're in school. Then of course, there are private loans. These will vary depending on which provider you go with, but these have a much higher interest rate and fewer options for repayment, as well as accruing interest while you're in school. So here it gets a little bit more tricky. Now I'm going to let you know that all of this information I did get from my financial aid advisor at SCNM, Anna Borjas. She was super helpful in answering a lot of our questions. So there are limits to the amount of student loans that you can get each year. The limit is you cannot borrow more than the cost of attendance. So the cost of attendance includes tuition plus living expenses, transportation, food, all of that. All of the costs that it takes for you to be able to go to school. Now, for naturopathic medical school, they will allow $8,500 per quarter in addition to tuition to cover your cost of attendance. However, you cannot borrow money past the cost of attendance, so more than the $8,500 per quarter. That is in government student loans. Now, direct unsubsidized loans also have a limit per year and overall for your graduate degree. Per year, they have an annual limit of $40,500. Now this means per academic year, so that is per 3 quarters or 9 months. Then they have an aggregate loan limit of $224,000. So you cannot borrow more than $224,000 of direct unsubsidized loans by the time you graduate. Then there are direct plus loans, which are only awarded to the cost of attendance. After that, you can also apply for private student loans. These, I don't believe there's a really set limit. It may vary per provider, but other than that, I'm not really sure. These are the loans that you would apply for after you've reached your annual limit from the government. So now that we know our limits, let's do some math. So as I already mentioned, the academic year is 9 months or 3 quarters. That means for your maximum, you will have $13,500 per quarter that you can use, maximum, for tuition and living costs from an unsubsidized government loan. If you're taking 27 credit hours at $358 per credit hour, that is $9,666 for the quarter to pay for your tuition. Then some additional fees, which I don't believe are a lot more, definitely under 1,000 I believe, so probably only a couple or a few hundred. I can definitely update y'all on those fees, probably on my Instagram or something like that later on, once I find out. If you take the $13,500 minus the $9,666, that leaves you with $3,834 for other school-related expenses, so living costs. If you need or want to receive the full cost of attendance from the government, you will need to get direct plus loans, which have the higher interest rate, and they're not as giving as the direct unsubsidized graduate loans. Now, I would like to point out that you definitely do not have to accept all of the loans that they offer you. They're gonna offer you pretty much, I think they should be offering you the entire cost of tuition and living, because they're going to be making money off of your interest that you're going to be paying. They're going to be making a lot of money. So in order for you to save money, don't take out more than you need. Once you figure out how much in student loans you will need, it'll be paid directly to the school the first week of the quarter. So you don't have to worry about paying them if you're paying just from loans. If you're paying out of your own pocket, then you will have to pay by a certain date. Then, if you have additional money for the cost of living that you will be receiving for you to use, you'll be getting that lump sum of money at the beginning of the quarter, and they'll give it to you as a refund. Typically as a direct deposit if you fill out that form. Otherwise, I believe you'll have to pick up a check. Now, going back to what I said, if you don't want to take all the money that they offer you, you definitely do not have to, and that is the smart choice. But say something does happen, there's an emergency, your car breaks down, and you need an extra $1,000 or something, you can request the extra money that you didn't accept from the beginning. So if you start the quarter and you say you only need $5,000, and then something happens later on and you need an extra $1,000, you can submit a request for that $1,000 and they'll give it to you as long as it's within the same quarter. So if there's extra money left over that they offered, you can still get that within the same quarter. But the extra money doesn't roll over to the next quarter. Say something big happened and you needed $10,000. If you didn't have that leftover money from the current quarter, you can't get it from a previous quarter whose money you denied. At SCNM, based on the June 2019 graduating class, the average amount of student loans that was owed after graduation was $201,000, which really is about average for medical school. Now, this $201K includes undergraduate loans, tuition for your naturopathic school, and housing if you use some for cost of living. The financial aid office at SCNM and likely other naturopathic medical schools is very responsive, so definitely reach out and work with them. You can even work on a budget plan, work on how you're going to pay back for your student loans, all of that. At SCNM, I know that they're very, very responsive and helpful and want to guide you in the right direction. And they really strongly believe in financial literacy. You can talk to them your whole time while you're in school and even after school as you're paying your loans back. Like undergraduate loans, graduate loans do go into repayment 6 months after graduation. They will be compounded once. You can calculate your interest per year by taking your loans times the decimal version of the percent of interest on the student loans, and that will tell you how much interest will accrue for the year. Then they're only compounded once, so they'll be compounded after graduation, which means your interest will be added to your principal balance, the amount that you took out in student loans. It'll be added to the interest, and then interest will accrue on that total cost. So yes, I know it does sound like a lot of money, but there are multiple repayment plans, and 4 repayment plans do offer loan forgiveness. If you do go the loan forgiveness route, you will be taxed on the amount that is forgiven. Lastly, another benefit that I learned about with SC&M is that they've been partnering with financial advisors. I believe this partnership is a bit new, and so I'm hoping it's still going on. As far as I know, it is. With these financial advisors, you can talk to them about how you're going to set yourself up for the future. What are your goals? How are you going to attain those goals financially, and how you're going to fund them? So I think that's super helpful to be able to get your finances in line, and they're partnered with SC&M, which means they are free to use, and they'll be doing workshops as well to help make you even more financially literate. I hope this video was informative and didn't scare you too much. Thank you so much for watching. If you have more questions or comments, definitely leave them down below. I'll try to get to them, and of course you can contact the financial aid office at the school you're looking into. And please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. And follow me on Instagram at liliesnatural.life. Thanks! See you next time!